Good evening, YouTubers. This is Demon0981. And seeing that it's reaching around the holidays pretty soon, I want to do a remake on one of my past videos. It was namely the top 10 the top 10 Nickelodeon Villains. After looking back at my own channel, I realized that for some odd reason my webcam didn't record some parts of certain videos. But as a Christmas gift to you all, I'm going to be doing a remake of those two videos and add them back to my channel. So without further ado, let's get back to the list, which is number 10. Denzel, Crocker, and Vicky from the Fairly Odd Parents. Now, what can I say about the Fairly Odd Parents that most people haven't already said? It's odd. It's a little strange. In a way, it's actually kind of entertaining. For all of us who don't know, back in the 1990s, there was this little compilation and a cartoon show called Oh Yeah Cartoons, which actually started in the pilots of now Nickelodeon episode shows like My Life as a Teenage Robot and Chalk Zone, Fairly Odd Parents, that kind of stuff. But the show isn't without flaws as well as its villains. And from what I can gather, there are two villains in the show. Crocker and Vicky. If you've seen the pilot episodes on YouTube, then you probably know why I consider Vicky a villain. Because, well, she antagonizes Timmy Turner to the point where he actually does need Fairly Odd Parents. Wait. Scratch that, Fairly Godparents. Why don't I just say the title of the show? Oh, and he gets Cosmo and Wanda, who basically get to grant his every wish, except for, of course, the rules, which restrict them from granting certain wishes. And among these, he basically gets back at Vicky in the first chance he gets. And seeing as Timmy Turner will need Cosmo and Wanda for a very, very, very long time, according to Jorgen von Strangle, chances are there might actually be new seasons. In fact, now that I remember correctly, while surfing the web, I came across this website called AnimeToon.tv, which shows completed TV series and anime, one of which was the Fairly Odd Parents. And since Cable 1 has taken off Nickelodeon, and I have yet to see the Fairly Odd Parents anymore, so I went into this website and found that one show, and I found something interesting. And they're already in their 9th season. But anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. As the seasons progressed from season 1, we're introduced to a new antagonist, Denzel Crocker, who is Timmy Turner's teacher and biggest enemy. Mostly because he's a crackpot, a conspiracy nut, and who believes that fairies are real. as it turns out later on, there's a reason. And he was actually one of the godparents. No, wait. Yeah, he was one of the god kids that Cosmo and Wanda actually had in the past before Timmy Turner. I know, shocking, isn't it? And apparently he's made it his life goal to fight in Cosmo and Wanda and harness their magic. Although in the Abracatastrophe, he almost actually did succeed. Number 9, Scrawl, from Chalk Zone. Chalk Zone is another one of those shows that started on OAI Cartoons, mostly because of course, the pilot episode. It's mostly about this boy named Booty Booty, who goes through this magical dimension, I guess I can call it, that's literally on the other side of every chalkboard or anywhere that chalk drawings can be found. And among his many adventures, he's had plenty of antagonists to combat against. One of them being Scrawl, which, according to some of the characters, looks like in the shape of a potato bug, a mutant jelly bean, and etc., etc. The reason why I put Scrawl on the list is just because, well, I'm a sucker for Jim Cummings' voice. I don't know why, I just am. Mostly because Scrawl makes an appearance 3 times in the series. There's his pilot appearance where there's a Booty Booty museum that exhibits all of his past creations, from his first drawing Blocky to his most complex creation, Snap. And of course, with every appearance that Scrawl has, there's a villain song. You can find these villain and song moments of Scrawl on YouTube while they're still there. I recommend giving them a watch, even if they are animated music videos and it's not the actual show. Number 8. This one's going to be quite the conundrum for a lot of you who are out there. It is the scientists from, well, the Angry Beavers. You know those two guys in the lab coats that seem to appear every now and then and to antagonize Norbert and Daggett for little to no reason? And apparently, since they're from the government, they can do whatever they want. And among their appearances, I can mention one that's inhabited by ghosts. And these two just barge right in and to get rid of them, when obviously Norbert and Daggett don't want them to. There's the episode Stinky Toe, where Norb is suffering from this illness that beavers get called Stinky Toe, where, of course, they get a stinky big toe. And what these scientists want to do is to take all of the beavers that have Stinky Toe and launch them into space in a rocket. And finally, there's the episode where something goes wrong and the head scientist, I cannot remember his name because he never gives it out, does some sort of weird experiment, and which causes him to turn into a beaver with a misshapen hand, and that's constantly trying to strangle him. What more can I say about that? Number 7. Plankton from SpongeBob SquarePants. Even after watching the mysterious Mr. Enter's videos, especially the animation atrocities that revolve around SpongeBob, I'm still going to consider Plankton a villain. Mostly because of what he's done in the past, which is constantly breaking and entering into the Krusty Krab to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. As usual, he is utterly defeated and basically thrown out of the Krusty Krab numerous times. Now, I will agree with Mr. Enter on this. There are a couple of episodes with Plankton in it that he doesn't deserve the hate. He doesn't really deserve to be the bad guy anymore. I, of course, refer to One Course Meal. And that one episode where Mr. Krabs begins a newspaper service. That's where he has SpongeBob create all these rumors about people. In fact, there was even one episode where Plankton didn't really try to do anything with the Krusty Krab. Called Plankton and its first customer, or something like that. In which he actually thinks he got a customer. Unfortunately, though, it turns out that Karen bribed the guy to do it. Boy. Yeah, that was really sting for him, though. I mean, even for a villain, I kind of feel sorry for him. However, though, in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Plankton actually does deserve to be the villain because he, 1, and steals King Neptune's crown, 2, sells it to a novelty shop up over in Shell City, 3, frames Mr. for it, and once Plankton has the secret formula. 4, he enslaves the entire population of Bikini Bottom when SpongeBob and Patrick are away. And 5, he actually tries to kill them, by means of sending an assassin. Now, there is one small problem I do have with the movie. Somebody better explain this to me. I don't care if it's the creators of SpongeBob, I don't care if it's just a random commenter on YouTube. Somebody really needs to explain to me how Plankton went from actually getting the Krabby Patty formula in the movie, and then in later seasons forgets it. I mean, there are a couple of episodes where he actually literally has the Krabby Patty in his possession. And then like that contest episode where Mr. Krab stages this whole thing where guess how many sesame seeds are in the jar and you get a free Krabby Patty. Plankton of course wins, but since Mr. Krabs and Plankton are rivals and well, he kind of hates the guy, he refuses to do this, so Plankton gets somebody from the Better Business Bureau to convince Krabs to do it. Reluctantly, in the end, he does do it. But he kind of tricks Plankton in a way, because he then tells him he has to eat it within the restaurant and to minutes. It is very interesting and how this came to be. And see, for one, I'm kind of glad SpongeBob SquarePants is not showing on my TV right now, because with all the animation atrocities that's been going on with the series that I haven't even noticed, I am starting to really lose it with SpongeBob, especially since there's a new movie coming out possibly next summer. On to number 6, which is every villain from Danny Phantom. If I wanted to, I could make an entire separate list just with the villains from Danny Phantom. Because, well, there's a lot of good ones. Let's see here. Desiree and the Genie Ghost, Skulker, Techness, the Box Ghost, Lunch Lady Ghost, that Ghost Dog, Johnny 13 and Kitty, the Ember McLean, in Freak Show, Pariah Dark, Fright Night, Vlad Plasmius, of course, and not to mention Dan Phantom. And that's just to name about 14. I don't know how many other ghosts there are in the series, but I've pretty much just nailed them all on the head. My favorites, though, I have to mention, are Desiree, because, well, she's a genie at best. Techness and the Box Ghost. Yeah, I know, I'm kind of rude for the latest ghost in the series, due to the fact that he's voiced by Rob Paulson, who can basically do that 90s surfer dude voice would still sound cool. Oh, wait a minute, there is one other ghost I forgot to mention, Penelope Spectra, who in her first appearance feeds on the negative emotions of others to make herself appear more beautiful. However, there was an episode where she required the DNA of Danny Phantom to stay youthful, but instead got his dad's DNA, which turned her kind of a snot monster. I don't know. But then, of course, there's Ultimate Enemy, in which somewhere in the deepest recesses of the Ghost Zone, on this Father Time-like ghost named Clockwork, and the Observers, which are basically ghosts with large eyes for heads, which are basically watching over the span of time. If you want to check out Ultimate Enemy, I recommend you do. Oh, it is worth watching, and it does kind of bring up a good question. What if Danny actually turned evil? Number 6, Professor Calamitous from, well, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. Turns out, Jimmy Neutron and he's not the only genius in Retroville. Before him, there was a man named Finbar Calamitous, who was actually a really intelligent person, except for one small flaw. He could never finish anything. And in his first appearance, we see this giant red robot that stomp around. And attempts to kidnap Goddard in order to get Jimmy Neutron's attention. And as it turns out, Calamitous is the one inside the robot. And he's even shorter than Jimmy. Now, the one thing I do kind of like about this film is that, well, he's voiced by Tim Curry. I swear, my next video is going to be like my favorite voice actors. It's getting like this close. He's also been seen in numerous other episodes, like the one that's kind of like Ocean's 11, where Jimmy, Cindy, Sheen, and Carl have to switch these pie-slit and Fabergé egg-like things. Things that would power up a laser? I don't know. There's the TV special, Jimmy Neutron Jet Fusion, where we're actually introduced to his daughter, beautiful, gorgeous. And we get to see him in numerous other episodes as well. Again, there's not that much I can say about Finbar Calamitous, other than the fact that he may be a super genius, but he is kind of forgetful. Number 4. Invader Zim from, well, Invader Zim. Voiced by another memorable voice actor, Richard Horvitz, who is actually voiced another character I've mentioned on this list already, Daggett, and Beaver from the Angry Beavers. If you know about the series as well as I do, Invader Zim is about this alien invader, named, well, Zim, who lands on Earth to try to conquer it for his race. Meanwhile, he's constantly getting hounded by this Earth kid, Dib, who is like a child version of Denzel Crocker. Some episodes Zim wins, some episodes Dib wins, some episodes where neither wins. The one episode I can say Zim is the biggest villain in would happen to be Dark Harvest, one of the most disturbing episodes in the series. Mostly because after Dib tells him that when he goes to the nurse, they're going to find out that he's not human. And when they do, they're going to send him to the alien autopsy table where they'll dissect him. So basically what he ends up doing is remove it in the organs of the other students and replacing them with various objects, such as hall passes, rulers, soda cans, I don't know why, radio games, bells, what and kid had a cat in it, I don't know why. And we finally see what Zim has become, and he definitely got bigger. which leads to the question, did he actually eat the organs? Although the series got canceled not too long ago, oh, and I wish it would still be on Nickelodeon. And I will say this, it was good for its time, but now it's kind of outdated. Number 3. The first live-action villains I'm going to mention from Nickelodeon are Neville and Nora from iCarly, and there's a good reason why. Let's start with Neville. Neville Peppermint, or is it Peppermint? I don't know. Oh, is on the list because, well, he's the closest thing to a villain we have in the series. It's mostly because he's constantly trying to get rid of the iCarly website. After his first appearance, when Carly goes to him for an interview, oh, and he sneaks her a kiss. After she rubs Tapenade in his face to get back at him, he curses her, saying that she'll roll the day that she did that, by basically hacking into their website and messing around with their videos. This is until Carly's uncle puts a stop to it. It wasn't until later that he came back and basically he did some stuff that and even made Campbell Lecter say, "Hey, you're good." Mostly he tricking the iCarly gang's biggest fan and to have it in her sign over or the iCarly site to him. And let's not forget the episode where the iCarly gang comes up with a contest to see who can answer this riddle. Well, they've come up with it right. If they do, they get a free car, or from this one kid and its uncle's car dealership. As it turns out, well, later on, it was all an elaborate con and scam, staged by, well, Neville. And during the whole entire episode, well, he's becoming more and more of a nuisance. Where's my car? Where's my car? At one point, they actually do give him a car, and he complains about it. Talk about an ungrateful little brat. Then he uses the gall to bring an attorney, with him to basically denounce the vehicle that they brought was indeed a car. So they finally get back at him by using Spencer's help. And meanwhile, well, there's a side plot where Spencer actually gets a replica of a starship cruiser from this movie he saw, and he converts it into a working car. Now, on to Nora. We've all seen in all three of those iCarly specials, those featuring Nora. In the first one, we kind of felt sorry for her because nobody liked her. She had little to no friends, except for a chicken. And the icon gang are nice enough to be at her house for her birthday, and so she can become popular or not to make friends. But then as soon as the party's done and they want to leave, she doesn't let them go. Then it turns into like Silence of the Lambs, where she imprisons them in a sound booth like cage, I guess I can call it, and refuses to let them go. Oh, they're saved by Gibby after they send them a subliminal happy birthday message. And she's arrested. We don't get to see her again until the second time. And where the iconic gang are brought to Nora's parole hearing and see whether or not she can be released. Then she comes up with some sob story that gets them to release her. And how does she repay them? By doing the exact same thing. This time trapping Spencer and Gibby along with Carly, Sam, and Freddie. The motivation to relive that birthday party forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. While this is going on, Gibby actually manages to try and escape through the chimney. Unfortunately, though, he gets stuck at the top of the chimney. And meanwhile, Spencer's is hooked up to this torture rotating wheel that spins whenever the iconic gang trying to harm Nora. I don't know why I find that one scene kind of funny. Between Spencer and Gibby going, "I'm stuck on a wheel! Oh, I'm stuck in the chimney!" It isn't until Nora's father comes home from a camping trip. Yeah, I know, he's gone on her birthday. I wonder why this girl was psycho. Oh, and when the iconic gang tell him what's been going on, and at first we think he's actually going to do something about it. No, not a chance. He's one of them. And it's not until Frank gets an idea that they can summon his mother by activating a parental chip that was embedded into the back of his head when he was a little kid. And Nora's parents are defeated, and Nora is sent back to jail. Now, the third time we see her, it's not in iCarly. Oh no. It's actually in the new series, or I guess it should be called the crossover series, Sam and Cat, which is like it is kind of like a crossover between Victorious and iCarly. And to tell you the truth, I don't really remember what happens. All that I do remember is that there is kind of like a Silence of the Hill, or Silence of the Lambs kind of ordeal, where Cat and Sam are stuck in the bottom of this pit. And I don't know why, but for some odd reason, if I remember that correctly, it's almost like put the lotion in the basket. It puts the lotion down its skin. I can't do it that well. Well, scene editors can. I can't. I don't know why. Anyway, let's get back to the list. What we're now on number 2. The Quester from My Life is a Teenage Robot. The cluster is an insect-like robot and aliens from, well, Cluster Prime, which is a robot version of Earth, where humans are enslaved by the machines, and it's ruled by a villainous queen named Hexus. I don't know whether I say Hexus. This Hexus, who's voiced by Eartha Kitt. That is for the most part. And among these various cluster robots, Vexus sends down to Earth to try to convince Jenny XJ9. It's sort of like this large robot scout. It kind of resembles a beetle. That she takes apart and Tuck and his brother turn her snow fort. There's an episode where this one crystal smuggler is in it, and there's also this bumbling scientist who manages to blow up Jenny into numerous pieces and scatter them all around the world. Again, I don't know that much about this series. Number 1. Every supervillain from El Tigre to the adventures of Manny Rivera. This is a forgotten gem of a Nickelodeon animation. I love the art style. I love of the various characters. I like the backstory. I especially like the Rivera family's background. Every other person in Manny's family has either been a villain or a hero. Now we're at him, and he can be either one at this point. His father is White Panther, at least that's what I think his name is, whose special power is superhuman speed thanks to these special boots. His grandfather, El Puma Loco, is kind of an evil genius. His mother used to be a superhero, but turned it down once the power count got to her head. As for Manny, he himself, his superhero persona, El Tigre, is actually kind of original. When his special powers include razor sharp claws, as gauntlets that can be detached with a chain from the wrist. He's almost as fast as his dad, but there's kind of a little evil streak to him. And kind of like the way that the show goes, with him first doing something wrong, evil, then balancing it and yet something good. But that's not the reason why this show is on the list. I'm here to talk about the villains. And there was one villain in general I wanted to talk about, but I can't seem to remember what her name was. If you'll pardon me for just a second, I'll try and look it up. Also, I had the chance to see the Book of Life this fall, and, well, I love it. Oh yeah, here we are. Among the various villains that are in the world of El Tigre, excluding his own family, there is the Dr. Chipotle family, mostly voiced by Richard Horvitz, Black, Cuervo, and Voltra, which are bird-based villains, Django the Dead, Sartana of the Dead, General Chapuza, I have no idea what that name means, and Lady Gobbler, Che Mustache Mafia, El Tarantula, El Oso, El Mar Verde, Titanium Titan, Silver Wolf, Cactus Kid, and Lady Lava. Yeah, that seems to be most of them. Well, let's go with the one villain I do want to talk about. That is Sartana of the Dead. And who is basically I guess I can call it the evil version and of Marte, and who owns a mystic guitar of power that allows her to control the dead. And seeing as she's like one of the biggest villains in the series, she can be very intimidating at times. And apparently she does have a grandson named Django the Dead, and who has all the same powers as his grandmother, including owning a mystic guitar of his own. Well, anyway, that's it for the Nickelodeon Villains. Tune in next time where I go over my favorite voice actors. And for once, it won't be a list. So, without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. This is Demon0981.